The street is my world. I don't pretend to go uptown and be anything fancy. I can, but I find more real in the world that I'm in than I do the tinsel. And the real world is the one I have to deal with every day, you know. Believe me, if I started murdering people, there'd be none of you left.
Let the bass kick.
Playtime been over since y'all dropped the ball. Bound to the continent, there's no asylum for y'all. Pushing the black Asiatic game with Ford L and Pool Bay. Before NOI, I rep draw L all day. How many fakes proclaim to be the reincarnation and claim to be the true head of the Moorish nation? No mention of Mealy Ill, but I read his letters. Dirty Moors mad cause they thought they dead as letters. Many were there when decisions were handed down. Now they claim that Mealy Ill was not ordained, not commissioned, not called or appointed, with divine plans for ages. But Dirty Moors making changes, working with FBI during infiltrations. In a pheasant alleys giving bogey smoke inhalations. In secret wars were made, heads unmade in public mentions. Don't believe, get the minutes of the first convention. Kirkman and Lomax Bay got called out as villains against the prophet Soden and L. Call Givens. Thousands of Moorish Americans followed those leaders that killed the prophet and made Moors parrots, not readers. They don't study, brains hollow. To crush the truth, plant dissension in the ones that follow. Robbed the treasury, felt like they hit the lotto. Took advantage of the faithful Moors in their times of sorrow. Moments still critical, 100 years later, the message. Stick to the principles in your actions, be progressive. Don't sell your soul for a title, take your membership role. Watch out for grand cheeks pushing you in a censorship hole. The sellout was great, now they comfy and won't get the hell out. Active Moors come around, they get clumsy. Not humbly, but act grumpy and jumpy. Active Moors see them touchy and think it's lovely. With faces ugly, I push back so don't shove me. If not for love, it would be just as Dirty Moors get from me. Hitting all reincarnates with writs of discovery and demanding the treasury recovery and law for money. Wearing a fez don't make you a Moorish adept. Dirty Moorish heads are Boy Scouts and cadets. Working for FBI inspectors, slaves for gadgets. Claiming they got pulled but they really dead magnets. Running a fraud that's done cause new Moors are here. One for all for one profit like musketeers. Bay, not Tampa or Buccaneers. I strike nerves like harp or strings on those puppeteers. Pushing misconceptions as teachings and calling it facts. Swinging my scimitar tongue, not a fireman's axe. Quick to call me out as dirty, say I violate acts. If you don't nationalize, know that I annihilate blacks. Nail them through their palms and inceps on beams of wood. Burn crosses on black lawns in my Moorish hood. Black Klansmen like movie from 1960s. White power, not supremacy like Clayton Bigsby. Now I run through illusions, battling my arch nemesis misconfusion. She's been trying to keep me out of course, facing losses, calling all her negative forces. 99 years past, Drew Ali said 50 would pass, and you wouldn't know about me, or even know what I brought for you. NOI and UNIA knew about him too. Most thought that they could bury the movement, be in charge, passive and abuse it. But Drew said new Moors would come with eyes open, seeing and knowing, far from hoping. Far from belief in faith, master fruition. Study the laws of nature, activate intuition. One day our wheels of industry will stop, and when it starts again, Moors will be on top. Drew Ali blessed with latent power. Warned you, get out the way or be ground to powder. Drew Ali didn't kill you fast, but he brought you your title and estate vast. Confusion continues to confuse, no remembrance of Maghrib al-Aqsa by Moorish descendants. Now I run through illusions, battling my arch nemesis misconfusion. She's been trying to keep me out of course, facing losses, calling all her negative forces.
Islam, peace and love. Welcome to Canaanland Moors class. We were introduced today by Iron Sheik 6, willofalah.com. One of the tracks off the album. We're here today because as we always know, never count out active Moors, because just when you think that, you know, we don't know what's going on or whatever, or we got something messed up, somebody's, and you think that they got us in something. Here comes an active Moor, a studious Moor, to put something on the record so people could STF you and FOH, because we know that there's a line in the sand and we're on our side, right? We're on our side. So Islam to brother Sidi Salim Azim Bey for putting his memorandum on the record. We're just going to go through that with some other stuff just to back up what he's saying, so that people could realize that it's not a joke out here. Your stuff got sold out by your own. There's no, you know what I mean, unity with all these Moors. You're going to unite with Moors who are on your mental wavelength. If your mental wavelength is still Negro black colored and you got a fez on, then those are the Moors that you're going to attract. If you think you're high and mighty, then you're going to attract Moors that call themselves Ali and the Sultan Noble God of the Moorish realm and all that stuff. All those people you're going to attract. Because it's real simple. This is your birthright. It's yours. And you have a right to be God with it, be nigger with it, be dumbass with it, be intelligent individual with it, be somebody got European education with it. What? It's your birthright. However you want to use it. But just know that all the BS that you do with your birthright is not going to be judged on this realm. So it's going to seem beneficial being an opportunist and telling people, you know, because nationality card has a barcode on it, that's what makes it legit. But the card that people have been using for the past 10, 15, 20 years, you know, that one doesn't work. You know, but this new card works because it has a barcode. Right? This was published on Holy Day, May 5th, 2017, 1438. I am distributing this memorandum for publication on the 155th anniversary of Cinco de Mayo to clear up some organized confusion that persists regarding the true background and status of the Moors originally domiciled here in North America, El Maghreb Al-Aqsa. Prophet Noble Drew Ali brought forth a divine truth that has not been placated by falsehood as it may appear quote-unquote online. History repeats itself, and Noble Drew Ali said that he would repeat himself as well. The agitation, misinformation, disinformation, and overall confounding tactics of COINTELPRO agents disguised as faithful Moors has made it necessary for the faithful to provide some clarification and by design wield the sword of truth and shame the devil. Keep in mind, this is Moorish American talking, okay? For the record, when Prophet Noble Drew Ali passed from in 1929, a great sellout occurred. Noble Drew Ali's own Supreme Grand Business Manager, Aaron Payne L., listed Prophet Noble Drew Ali's race as Black American on his death certificate. Oh, one more thing. Now, remember that we're talking about the Moorish movement. We're talking about Noble Drew Ali. I can't find it, but you're gonna go to Google Images, right? And you're gonna pull up the flyer for Noble Drew Ali, the Egyptian adept, right? Not only did the betrayer Aaron Payne L. put Noble Drew Ali as a black American, right, which is denationalization, he also put that Noble Drew Ali died of tuberculosis. Go check the death stuff. Now, the reason why you're going to go look up the card is because the flyer for the Egyptian adept Noble Drew Ali talked about him healing people and that he can cure you of anything that you weren't born with. So keep in mind that the Moorish Manufacturing Company was making big finance selling Noble Drew Ali's products. Big finance. Right? So there's fiat. When they cashed everything in and divvied it amongst all the sellouts, people left with lots of fiat from the sellout of the Moorish movement. Because just like they do with all the other Moors that are faithful to the cause of bringing our people back to our nationality and birthrights. Right? Now keep in mind, Noble Drew Ali is the founder of that, but he also did that. So he wasn't just Prophet Noble Drew Ali, he was also just another sheikh that just had an obligation to make sure that the people know about their national and birthrights. And how are we going to draw them in? Draw them in. If you got some products that you can present to draw them in, and then you tell them, you could, you know what I mean, give people a massage and tell them about their birthrights or whatever. Whatever it is, he was doing the job of uplifting fallen humanity, not just talking about it. So he was also not, if we take him out of the prophet seat and look at him as just a man, just like we say with all these other individuals here that people pose up and push up like they're somebody because God sent them and all that stuff. No, he's just another brother out here trying to wake up his people. Trying to let these people know about their nationality and birthrights. You know, but we know that he's the prophet and he's a particular example of an individual that came for the liberation of our people. So these people doctored up the death certificate. So if they doctored up the death certificate, what else did they doctor up? This is the supreme business manager. This is not somebody who's just coming into the movement. If he's a supreme business manager, somebody who's been in this. Right? Now, let's, you know, fill in some gaps. Right? Let's fill in some gaps. In any case, on Saturday, June 20th, 1929, at 9:50 p.m., he died. At his bedside were Clarence Payne L., attorney Aaron Payne L., his father-in-law, Foreman Bay, and wife, Mary Drew. According to his death certificate filed by Dr. Payne L., cause of death was tuberculosis bronchopneumonia. The body was placed in the Frank Edwards Undertaking Parlor, 4136 Michigan Avenue Funeral Services. So for all the Moors, you know, 4136 Michigan Avenue, just go check and then see, you know, what that is now. Now, if that's still a funeral parlor, Funeral services were held Friday, July 26, 1929 in the Pythian representatives, or in the Pythian Temple building, Pythian. The funeral services for Noble Drew Ali, who's a prophet of the Moorish Divine and National Movement, the Moorish Holy Temple of Science, Moorish Science Temple of America, founded in 1913 under the Old Canaanite Temple. But his funeral services were at the Pythian Temple building. So the prophet's funeral services weren't held at the Grand Major Temple that where they had all the conventions, Unity Hall, something like that. I mean, just the prophet we're talking about. But, you know, you'll check Pythian and all that stuff and see where that goes. The body was finally laid to rest in Bur Oak Cemetery, Acacia Lawn, Lot 44, Grave 7. And then also check Acacia, A-C-A-C-I-A. Just for your own raising up. 18 days after the passing of the Moorish prophet, a member of Chicago's subordinate temple number 1 declared that the spirit of the prophet had reincarnated into his form. This man was George Gibbons L., aka John Gibbons L., aka John Gibbons L., born December 6, 1904. Upon coming of age, he traveled west, finally settling in Chicago, Illinois, where he joined the Moorish movement in 1925. After a brief period in the temple, he was initiated into its adept chambers. Oh, brief. His brief period in the temple? How much people out there call Cujo talking about, well, I've been in the temple, so, you know, I want to be an adept, but they won't let me be an adept because they said that I didn't say the Quran proper. But John Gibbons L., George Gibbons L., John Gibbons L., he was brief. Now keep in mind, in the Canaanland Moors temple, the Moor who was playing that Moorish law firm, charging people $5,000 for papers that he got from us, that guy was brought in to the adept chamber with a briefing in the temple. It appeared that he had a clean heart and all that stuff. Lo and behold, he's out there under a different name, calling themselves Moorish law stuff, charging people $5,000, 5,000 for papers that they got from us for free. And they're in Brampton, a place called Brampton. So any Moors in Brampton, if you hear Moorish law, whatever, Moorish law firm, Morehouse lawyers, anything to do with they're going to represent you and stuff like that, give them $5,000, don't give them $5,000. These are the same Moors, just like Gibbons L. Remember, Joali said, those are with me today, those are against me are the same. So, it's later, and there's still people that are against the Prophet, following the pattern of the people before them that sold out. He also became the chauffeur mechanic for the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. However, it was reported by his followers one day while working on the Prophet's automobile, shortly after his death, Gibbons L. fainted. When his eyes were examined, he had the sign of the star and crescent in one eye and the circle 7 in the other right. Then they knew that the Prophet had reincarnated into his chauffeur. This was the mindset of Moors. This is why it's 2017 and Moors are just finding out that the sellout attorney is the one who put black on the stuff, right? And then you have people with a Moorish channel, that we call Morisco, because they don't care about the birthright. They want views and stuff like that. They didn't even bring that up. They got people backing somebody saying that, oh, well, it was black because, you know, black means death and Noble Juwali's dead, so that's why they put black on there. BS. Aaron Payne L did it. We just verified 2 times. One, that he said tuberculosis is what Noble Juwali died of, but that's impossible because he can cure that. And 2, what we read in here. Denationalize the prophet and put black to keep this black crap going on. And keep in mind, he was an attorney. Which again, you know, go against the prophet. And then what did the Morisco guys do? Bring somebody with the same title that went against the prophet on their platform. And then you're telling us a unity with them? Active Moors right now. Passive Moors, you just stay over there and be passive. Dirty Moors, your time's done. All the people leaving your temple to come join Canaanland Moors temple to be honorary members, you guys' time's done. You can make up all type of allegations about who I touched and who I did whatever to. Make up all your stuff, do your thing. But trust that your time's done. And you're not stopping it. It doesn't matter if you give people from here authority, give them some paper, have them be Moors, be the new Moorish whatever in Canaanland. Don't worry, we're going to find out about them and then we're going to out them too, because again, we already know everybody out here who knows about Moors. And if they're not down with us, they're dirty Moors, guaranteed. Any Moors that say Canaanland, Canada, Canadian, whatever. But they're not down with the Moorish Science Temple of America, Canaanland. They're dirty Moors. Trust me. Because those same Moors came out of our temple. Any Moor out here saying that they're Moors, they came out of our temple. They had some kind of conversation with me, Brother Amari, Brother Omar, Brother Tez, somebody. Dirty Moors out here. Active Moors, Islam. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. You already know how we do. Because we're on the same mind frequency. You already know what's up. Whoever's not on board with this, the boat has left the dock. Sorry. See ya, wouldn't want to be ya. Because dirty Moors off this boat. If you learn your lessons, you'll be able to astral project onto the boat, even though it left the dock. So we'll see who gets hyped and who decides to stay in the dirty Moors camps, groups, making claims of things and show you nothing, but they make claims every day, all day. But they show nothing. They never ever show anything. Active Moor is the only one showing and proving. But now we're a renegade and we're against the prophet. We violated Act 2 and Act 4 and Act 5 and yeah. Aaron Payne L. was a Moorish adept, attorney and graduate of the prestigious University of Chicago School of Law. This was surely not an error, For all adepts know that the true race of the Moors is Asiatic and not black. After the Prophet passed form, the faithful Moors set out to murder Aaron Payne L for treason. For all the Moors out there, who like to play, well, those are your brothers and your sisters, and yeah, but they went against the Prophet. But they're your brothers, and they went against the Prophet. Well, people can change, and you know, we're not saying, you know, do whatever to people or whatever, but recognize how treason is dealt with. Recognize how treason is dealt with. Well, and Noble Drew said, we are a nation. Right? And again, this is a Moor stepping up to let you know stuff that you should know about the Moorish movement. You should know that the Moors went after the guy who said that he's black and said that he died of tuberculosis when they know that Moors killed him. They know who it was. They know who did it. It's not a secret. Back then, it might be a secret to stupid people whose eyes are closed. But people who knew, do you let them take out the Prophet? Prophet only warned them, I'm going to leave you guys because you guys let this Moor chase me around with a knife and all that stuff, and you guys did nothing. So they weren't going to let a second time come and them do nothing. Keep in mind, right? Treason. Right? They were going after him for treason, right? Then, when they're going after him, his home was protected by none other than the Chicago City Police. Now, you know, let me get that for you. If you study, right? If you study, you know that the infiltration is to cause exactly what it is that's going on right here. That's how you know that they're agents. Because how come their muftis aren't protecting them? They're supposed to be Moors. How is there protection, Chicago police, when you got muftis? You got people who are responsible for the security. But you're not using them to secure you. You're using the police. So wouldn't it make sense then that it really wasn't Chicago police that beat Noble Drew up? They might have softened them up a bit, but they really put him in the hands of the dirty Moors who knew that after they got rid of the Prophet, that people were going to come for them for treason. Not knowing that these guys are working with the other side, they have that protection. Remember, we're talking about the sellout of the movement. We're talking about the Moors who became passive. We're talking about the Moors who stopped studying. We're talking about the Moors who really weren't with the Moorish movement. They really weren't with it. It appeared that they were because they had a sign outside and they had fezzes on and they greet each other and say, no, we don't shake hands, we press. You know what I mean? Islam to all the Moors and all that. They were with the movement. They had nothing to do with the movement. They were part of the people to destabilize the movement, to make the movement have noodle legs. Because they knew that this was going to do it. This was going to end all the racism, all the hatred. Everything was going to be done. Why? Because the people would have a new mind and they would realize that they're not the things that create racism and hatred and prejudice. And once they stop being those things, then the BS that you're complaining about would disappear as well. But they couldn't have that. And we keep telling Moors. It's not something new that we're telling Moors. We've been telling Moors. We've been airing out dirty Moors' laundry. But people don't really, it's nothing to them. Doesn't matter. Because, you know, they care about Noble Drew Ali, so that's all. No, there's dirty Moors around here. Them being able to influence people to say, I don't want nothing to do with Moorish movement because they are confusion and all that stuff. That's their plan. Get those, remember, it's the weak minds. The ones who heard something and they're like, yo. And then they go look around the corner where the Moors are at and they see, you know what I mean, spiked bats and stuff like that. Right? You know? And they're looking at it like, oh my gosh, these guys have spiked bats. And so, oh, Moors are dangerous. When, no, we're cleaning house. There's not no fight going on over here. There's house cleaning going on. Everybody getting put out on Front Street. So now you could follow the line back to everybody who's around today. So you can know who the sellouts are, because they're still around today. In the open. They're not even hiding. Just like Highwayman kill somebody in the open, on camera. They don't even care. It's that crazy. They're dirty and they don't even care that they're dirty Moors. They're still just going to be dirty Moors doing dirty Moor stuff. And again, if Noble Drew Ali's own attorney is going to sell him out, chauffeur is going to sell him out, interpreter is going to sell him out, you really looking at what you see as the Moorish movement today as what it is? Tripping. You better get yourself, start studying and realize that this is your birthright. And there's but 10 temples, tops, that you can go to and actually learn something. The rest of these people, infiltrators. Letting you know. As soon as you walk in the door, you'll know. That, whoa. As soon as you walk in the door, you'll know. Energy will tell you that these people are traitors. Right? So this guy's home is protected by Chicago police. Police protection and or close relations is a telltale sign of a covert agent provocateur. The same corrupt Chicago Police Department that was responsible for the false arrest and abuse of Prophet Noble Drew Ali was now protecting the man, Aaron Payne, who blatantly labeled the Prophet Noble Drew Ali a Negro posthumously, i.e. Black American necessarily means Negro in law according to Black's Law Dictionary 4th edition. Because Noble Drew Ali was a mastermind, he had given definitive assignments to several of his faithful Moors, and many today are still trying to figure out what is clear to the clairvoyant. But Allah reveals truth to whom He will. Time is also the best revealer, and Emile L., also an attorney, proved to be a faithful Moor in that he kept records that allowed the new Moors to find the breadcrumbs left by the Prophet. Elijah Poole Bey could often be found in the front row of Prophet Noble Drew Ali's temple meetings, feverishly taking notes. He was very humble, soft-spoken, quiet, and most studious. Because of his demeanor, Noble Drew Ali gave him the assignment of keeping Islam alive in name and creed for the Moors who were about to take yet another fall due to infighting and betrayal. Brother Poole Bey discarded Moorish nationality altogether and altered the racial aspect of the Prophet's teachings and began to refer to the Moors as Asiatic black man, a misnomer, right? Just like Afro whatever, That's in these sellout books right here. This is another one of the sellouts out here that's around today, pushing this mixing up the teachings stuff. Right? We'll touch on some of that in a sec. Elijah Muhammad gave his most trusted divine minister the title Bey. He is still alive today and is known as Brother Lucius Bey. Lucius equal Roman prenomen or given name, which was derived from Latin lux, light. Minister Lucius Bey is known as the Dean of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's ministers in the Nation of Islam, and with good reason. He also gave his most famous member, Cassius Clay, the title Muhammad Ali, and with good reason. He knew the truth. Now keep in mind, along with Elijah Poole Bey was David Ford L, who became Fard Muhammad. And keep in mind, for all the people who are around today that are NOI, ask yourself, how come you still got X and all that stuff, right? When Joseph X, Captain Joseph X, declared himself his new name, Yusuf Bey. This is within Nation of Islam. So it's based in the Nation of Islam, but it's only amongst the ministers, the top people, only have, you know, the name. And then when you go check the FBI papers, there's stuff in there, NOI's FBI papers, with them selling nationality cards. Not membership cards, nationality cards. Just go check their FBI file, the Nation of Islam's FBI file. Remember, we're talking about infiltration, right? Now remember, that was infiltration. Because Elijah Muhammad went with Ford L to take the quote-unquote Moorish Science Temple of America in Detroit and make it Allah's Temple of Islam, and then eventually turn into Nation of Islam. But Allah's Temple of Islam, right, had Fard as prophet, Noble Jew Ali, reincarnated, different version of reincarnated Noble Jew Ali. And then whatever members went with him. So it's not just Kirkman Bey, Givens L, and Emily Ill. You also have all the Christian ministers that took some members. You have Ford L in them that took some members. Right? All the Hebrew stuff going on, people took some members and created their little stuff. These groups that we see today, you can't even count how much groups there are for the liberation of our people. One's come and gone, ones that are still around. But none of them are a nation. None of them are a nation. None of the individuals that claim to be a nation are nationals of that nation that they're claiming. Guaranteed. Why? Because they have police protection and all that stuff. They're not getting no police protection as nationals. These people are protecting their property by having police protection or whatever. No. When people have their fake stuff that they're doing under the guise of being quote unquote for the Moors, there's always things that let you know that these people have to be a fraud. Because why would you even, I mean, like, if you were part of Canaanland Temple and we know you as El Bay, and then for whatever reason you say, well, I don't want to be part of this no more, I'm going to do something else or whatever, and then you leave Canaanland Temple, and then 4 months later we see you riding with some new Kemet whatever Moors, and now your name's Ali. That's suspect. Very suspect. Especially when, before you left the temple, you would, do slick stuff like go to Omar and say, can I get some Qurans? I've got people that want to know about the Moorish movement, right? And then take Qurans and not see you for a few weeks. You come back again and then, yeah, I just wanted to get some 101s because, Mufti, Brother Omar Sharif Bey, he's not really stupid, He really picks up on stuff. That's why he's Mufti. Always at the door. For everybody in and everybody out gets the retina scan by him, because he's Terminator. So he'll scan people with the fake eye, right? That everybody thinks is a real eye. And, we're straight. But these individuals, really think that the purpose of the Moorish movement is to have a title. The purpose of the Moorish movement is to be somebody. So, you can feel important because you're a loser as a child. You're still a loser as an adult. And people are just trying to make a name for themselves, when this is about doing for others to make a name for yourself. And if you're not doing for others, trust me, the titles and all that stuff is BS. Because, priesthood is dead. But, oh yeah, that's only in the red book, which, is only in the adept chamber. You have to be adept to get that because, they're not going to give it to you. But if you're studious, you'd be around the right Moors who know about rvbaypublications.com. They got the red book on there under different title, so that the Moorish guys can't talk BS and you guys can't sell that. That's Moorish science, temple literature and stupid stuff like that. When Juali said it's, could be sold at expense. But this is how it is. They want to own the birthright. And then they want to own you. They want to own you. They want to, okay, for example, right? Moors, Moabite and Man, Reflection and Redemption, compiled, right? Bandeli El Amin. And these are a Moorish group guys. Those guys are, the Moors. Now, page 5, chapter 1, History of the Moors. Quote, Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites who inhabited the northwest and southwest shores of Amexem, the true and divine name of Africa. Part of the process in Moorish redemption is the understanding history. Moorish history involves an understanding of the northeast and northwestern regions of Amexem al-Kebalan. Noble Juali told us that Moors inhabited the northwestern and northeastern shores. The fact that Moorish influence... No, one second. Quote, Moorish Holy Quran, Noble Juali. Moorish Americans are the descendants of ancient Moabites who inhabited northwest and southwest shores of Amexem. These guys, Noble Juali told us that Moors inhabited the northwestern and northeastern shores. Noble Juali didn't say nothing about no northeastern shores of nothing. Well, okay, let's just see. Maybe that was just one part that day. Okay, let's see. Chapter 4. Afro-Islam in America. Now, remember, these are Moors now. So now, Moors who know that the old-time religion is Islamism. The old-time religion is Islamism, but Afro-Islam, where do these people come from making up this stuff? And again, it's a Moor that, you know, boat left the dock and they're on the dock, you know what I mean? And somebody threw them this dinghy. And they're like, yes, got one. And they put it in the water and then they got out there and the dinghy started sinking. And then they can't swim. So, you know what I mean? They're panicking and stuff like that. Right? But you send them a little, you know, rope to help them out. So they sent this book as a favor for helping them out. They're still being helped out. Because they were reading this book as a new Moor. Right? Remember Juali said new Moors are gonna come with their eyes wide open, and then they marked these pages right here. They themselves, using their own common sense and referring what they know about Noble Juali, and then what certain individuals say Noble Juali, and realize, hold on a second, there's discrepancy going on here. Luckily, you know, she got touched with the Holy Spirit and she didn't give up her birthright because some dirty Moors are talking BS in regard to what Noble Juali brought, telling people about different shores and stuff, messing up the teachings. It doesn't even sound right saying it that way. It even sounds messed up. Right? Oh yeah, another one that was in here, just to put. Chapter 7, Process of Nationalization. The process of citizenship and naturalization is a gradual process. It will take time for indigenous people to change the way they do business and deal with society. Here is the steps into the nationalization process. Chapter 7, the process of nationalization. The process of citizenship and naturalization is a gradual process. It will take some time for indigenous people to change the way they do business and deal with society. Here is the steps into the nationalization process. I thought they just said naturalization. You can't nationalize and naturalize. You can't do both. And then keep in mind that when you naturalize, you lose your citizenship. You denationalize yourself when you nationalize, when you naturalize. By naturalizing, you denationalize. The Moors do. And those are Moors. Again, if it's not dealing with birthright, it's dealing with make you part of the group so they can get your monthly whatever to live off in their mom's basement. I'm telling you that there's some nation or some empire, but their emperor is having these governmental meetings at Tim Hortons. And then you can't be a member unless you give a certain amount of silver that they're going to turn to fiat anyways to go buy stuff and then look like they got something. But their empire though, you know, they're recognized all over the world, and Africa recognizes them, and oh, Africa recognizes you, huh? Continent recognizes you. That's a good one. Fool some of the people some of the time. Why would now again, everybody wants to be part of their group. Islam to the Moor did his undercover work and brought out that, you know, when you join some of these groups, you have to take oaths with them, right? They want you to take an oath, and the oath is that your allegiance is going to be to them. The allegiance is not going to be to Noble Drew Ali. The allegiance is not going to be to your nation. The allegiance is going to be to their little group that they founded, their little, you know, stuff that they made up to make you think that they're legitimate. When Noble Drew Ali brought you the most legitimate thing that you can be part of, which is your nation, and then told you that you are a nation. If you are a nation, you know what you need these groups for? To be your nation state and stupid stuff like that. When you have a flag that's 10,000 years old, you need some guy from 2010 has a Moorish or whatever. That's the empire stuff for you to follow. They have the real teachings that Noble Drew Ali brought, right? They don't even have his flag, but they're with Noble Drew Ali. Really? Right? Don't let these people fool you with their stupid stuff about trying to look like they're somebody. These people aren't anybody. These people are clowns, just trying to distract you from your birthright. You don't need somebody. You need yourself. Islam to Brother Abdullah. Abdullah Talib Mozi Bey. Make sure you get his book, Moors and Masonry. It's over there somewhere. Make sure you get his book, Moors and Masonry. Goes in. Check out the website, moorcivilletter.net. Sent this one out. USA, discovery of 9th century Quranic manuscripts predate Columbus' travels by 5 centuries. For centuries it was believed that Christopher Columbus was the first man from the old continent to cross the Atlantic to the New World. But new evidence from a research team from the University of Rhode Island suggests Muslim seafarers might just be the first people to have settled on the shores of America. Not Hebrew ones, Muslim ones. A possibility that could rewrite history as we know it. The discovery completely took the researchers by surprise, admits Professor Ivan, E-V-A-N, Uriesco, Y-U-R-I-E-S-C-O, in charge of the research team. We were expecting to find traces of prehistoric Native American settlements, as we have in the area for the past decades. We were not prepared to find 9th century clay pots containing ancient manuscripts written in the Arabic language. The team of researchers fell upon what could be the mass tomb of 9th century seafarers. The 4 skeletons that have been found in the site are in a state of advanced decomposition, which could make DNA testing impossible, warns the expert, although the teeth showed premature decay, which could explain the cause of death by a poor diet or an unknown illness. A number of items were also found as clothes, coins, 2 scimitars, yet the remaining artifacts were in such a bad state that they are barely recognizable, as rust has destroyed any possible recognizable trace of writing on the swords and coins, and the pieces of cloth have rotten due to age and extreme humidity of the area. 2 clay pots were also found in a surprisingly good state, one of them containing the precious manuscripts and the other a mixture of unidentified dried spices, which, when identified, could bring further proof of the origin of the sea dwellers. Islamic medieval scholar Karim ibn Fallah, Karim ibn Fallah, from the University of Massachusetts, Islam to the Moors, has determined that the age of the manuscripts is from the 9th century based on the Kufic script of manuscripts. Kufic is the oldest calligraphic form of the various Arabic scripts and consists of a modified form of the old Nabatean script, Nabatean, Nabatean. Kufic developed around the end of 7th century in Kufa, Iraq, from which it takes its name. The discovery of Kufic scripts in pre-Columbus America is extremely fascinating. Byron Kent, museologist at the Smithsonian, admits the find is extremely troubling. Of course, Smithsonian. Of course, Smithsonian is going to have a problem with the findings. There is no question that Arab maps were the best in the world, but none of the existing early maps demonstrates any knowledge of the Americas, he ponders. Even though the burden of historical evidence has been against the idea of Muslim populations traveling across the Atlantic in pre-Columbus times, the expert does not dispute the Muslims could have beaten Columbus to the New World. Richard Francaviglia, Richard Francaviglia, Francaviglia of Willamette University and best-selling author of Far Beyond the Western Sea of the Arabs. So here's his books. Far Beyond the Western Sea of the Arabs, reinterpreting claims about pre-Columbian Muslims in the Americas. The premise of pre-Columbian Islam in the New World is attractive because it is so plausible. The navigational accomplishments of Muslims were significant indeed. The record confirms that they rapidly explored and colonized a substantial portion of the Old World by the 9th and 10th centuries. Columbus himself was clearly indebted to Muslim seafaring skills, and there is little doubt that Muslims had the technological expertise to have reached the New World. Right? So you can do yours on USA, Discovery of the 9th Century Quranic Manuscripts. Discovery of the 9th Century Quranic Manuscripts. Predate Columbus. Muslims explore America. Muslims have exerted a great and largely unrecognized impact on American society, beginning with their exploration of America more than 300 years prior to the New World by Columbus. The Muslim explorers assessed the interior of the continent by using the Mississippi River. The traces of their early presence may be found in the architect of towns such as St. Augustine, Florida. Remember we showed you, Brother Samuel's book. Make sure you go get that. The Moorish Essence of Pensacola. Make sure you get that one. The traces of their early presence may be found in the architect of towns such as St. Augustine, Florida, in the names of islands such as Islamadora, and in the customs of the American Indians. Some little known but very intriguing statistics follow. In 1178, a Chinese document known as Sung document records the voyage of Muslim sailors to a land known as Mu-Lan-Pi, M-U-L-A-N-P-I. This document, the Kolan Amirs, published in 1933. Right? So a document known as the Sung document that records the voyage of Muslim sailors to Mu-Lan-Pi, which is America. Abu Bakari, a Muslim king from the Malian Empire, right now, and keep in mind, whenever they say Muslim, they mean Muslim, and they really mean more. And Muslim is just, they're not talking about Muslims if they're talking about 1300s. There were no Muslims back then, only Muslims back then. There's no Muslims in 1300s. There were Muslims back then. But just like the colonists, the pale Arabs graft themselves onto our history and then take these modern words and make them past words when they didn't fit there. So no Muslim king of the Malian Empire, the Moorish king. We're talking about 1300s. No African king, Moorish king. Leads a series of nautical voyages to the New World in 1310. In 1312, African Muslims, African Moors, right, like Dr. Ben told you in his books, the Africans are Moors, the Asians are Moors, and the Arabs are Moors. And we were calling ourselves Moors. M-A-U-E-R-S, then M-O-O-R-S. Dr. Ben. In 1312, the African Muslims from Mandinga arrive in the Gulf of Mexico and explore the American interior via the Mississippi River. (1533). Piri Rice, P-I-R-I-R-E-I-S, completes the first world map including the Americas after researching maps from all over the world. The map is unsurpassed in its practicality. 1530. African slaves arrive in America. More than 10 million were uprooted from their homes and brought to America. And more than 30% of these slaves formed the backbone of the American economy. Right, 1530. 10 million. were brought to America. They didn't say brought to North America, were brought to America. And when you go check the slave logs will show you that majority of the people that were slaves were dropped off in South America. (1539), Estevanico of Azamor, a Muslim from Morocco. Really? A Muslim from Morocco. And remember, like Brother Jose Pimenta Bay said, if you see books and they say the African and the Negro and all the labels, check where they were published. If they were published here, they say Negro. If they're published outside of North America, it's going to say Moor, not African. Just something to check out. In Panama and Colombia, there were rulers, princes, whom the invading Catholic Spaniards recognized as having completely Moorish or biblical names. Moorish or biblical names. So Moorish or biblical implies that Moors are in the Bible, or Moors' names come from the Bible. And we'll go with Moors are in the Bible because the Moor already put out the video with Moor in the Bible when referring to a black man or African Moor. Aben Amechi, A-M-E-C-H-Y, A-B-E-N A-M-E-C-H-Y. Even in the Caribbean, the evidence of a significant Muslim presence can be found. P.V. Ramos points out in African presence, I don't know what the hell that says, that Christopher Columbus' own impression of the Carib peoples was that they were Mohammedans. Christopher Columbus' own impression of the Carib people, so Caribs are from somewhere. So if Caribs are from somewhere and he met some people there and said, hey, those guys are Mohammedans. Right, and people discovered stuff though. Dr. Barry Fell, Harvard University, introduced in his book, Saga America, solid scientific evidence supporting the arrival, centuries before Columbus, of Muslim and West Africans. Dr. Fell discovered the existence of Muslim schools at Valley of Fire, Allen Springs, Lago Marcino, Keyhole Canyon, Washoe, Mesa Verde, Colorado, Islam, Mimbres Valley, New Mexico, Tippecanoe, Indiana, dating back to 700 to 800 CE. Engraved on rocks, they found texts, diagrams, and charts representing the last surviving fragments of what was once a system of schools, both elementary and higher levels. Instruction was North African Arabic, written with Old Kufic Arabic script. The subjects of instruction, including writing, reading, arithmetic, religion, history, geography, mathematics, astronomy, and sea navigation. Elementary school to higher levels. But the subjects of instruction, remember, elementary school to higher levels. The subject of instruction, writing, reading, arithmetic, religion, history, geography, mathematics, astronomy, and sea navigation. The descendants of the Muslim visitors of North America are members of the present Iroquois, Algonquin, Anasazi, Hohokam, and Olmec native people. The descendants of Muslim visitors to the Americas, really Muslim visitors, or Moor visitors, Moorish visitors, Moroccan visitors, are members of the present Iroquois, Algonquin, Anasazi, Hohokam, and Olmec native peoples. In 1654, the English explorers reported a colony of bearded people wearing European clothing, living in cabins, smelting silver, and dropping to their knees 5 times daily, wherever they might be. The early 17th century Powhatan Indians' description of heaven is nearly word for word the description found in the Quran. Tennessee Governor John Sevier records a 1784 encounter in what is now western North Carolina with dark-skinned, reddish-brown complexioned people of Moorish descent who claim to be Portuguese. Not pale people, dark-skinned, reddish-brown complexioned people of Moorish descent. Western North Carolina, who claim to be Portuguese. In East Tennessee, in late 1800s, Jonathan Swift, an Englishman, employed dark men who were quote-unquote Moorish Indians. We'll just leave that alone and go to questions, because if you need more than that to realize that, then I guess you need more than that. Sorry. So let's see what's going on. Islam to the Moors, sorry about the chat. I don't know if y'all are on it or not, but something's going on. BS as usual. So, Manual B. Greetings, Moors. Islam. Is there more details or a template of practice on correcting the name on the passport? Islam. Well, the name on the passport, more than likely, is going to be all capital letters name, regardless what name you put on it. It's going to be all caps, which means, you're still going to have to do all reservation of rights and all that stuff. But if you're moving in that direction, we suggest keep your free national name out of those people's bankrupt, dissolved, and insolvent instruments. Those people's bankrupt, insolvent, dissolved instruments, you should probably keep your free national name away from those. My suggestion. Right? Because they're bankrupt, dissolved, and insolvent. And what you got a nationality card. What you need your free national name on their corporate, dissolved, bankrupt, insolvent instrument. Because remember, it's going to be in all caps, so they're still going to have jurisdiction, and then you would be you giving it. Because again, you have these Moors out here putting out this crazy stuff about oh, just put your free national name on the bankrupt, dissolved, insolvent instrument, and then you're free. And then, really? So what are you going to do with your nationality card at that point? So remember, your nationality card should not say that you're all caps. Now, if your nationality card says all caps, and then your stuff that U.S or whatever like that give you instrument, and you say, hey, I'm going to put my free national name on their stuff, and that's in all caps, you got problems coming. Serious problems. So, passport, that's old business. You've been had that in a name that's not your Moorish name. So don't get, all old business, leave it as it is. All new business, do it in your free national name. Passport, that's old business, because you've been had passport and you weren't on putting no free national name on anything. So, we understand people got situations and stuff like that where, they maybe can't use that passport because of, felony or something crazy like that. Well, that's why you got a nationality card. That's why Noble Shwali said study, 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 and be yourself. So the time's gonna come when, it's just gonna make sense that you have to start being yourself. That it's just gonna hit you. That, oh, you know what? Okay, I get it now. It's time for me to be myself, and then you're going to be yourself. If you're in a position where you're questionable about being yourself, don't be yourself yet. You keep studying. Right? Keep studying. Do not engage. I am Shamil Bey, studying from all angles to catch up on everything. Well, there's no catching up because you're going to be studying forever. So you can cancel out the catch up. 24 hours a day studying because, you got to don't even kill yourself. Don't kill yourself. Pace yourself. Because, trust me, 24-hour days studying is not going to last too long. Eventually, you're going to realize how important sleep is to you digesting this information that you read from 50 books in 2 hours because you're trying to catch up. So it'll save you a little bit. Slow your roll. And don't worry about catch up because there ain't no catch up. Just like, the sky's the limit. No. There ain't no limits. Forget sky. There's stuff way past sky for that to be your limit. First, the taxes are really slavery control over labor wages. I had 2 visits from an agent from Human Resource, put them on notice with the treaty and Zodiac Constitution number, still no change. In fact, they are taking more tax, so I'm forced to lean Inquisition Revenue Services. Knowing I have the right to make claim, I would have to file against Supercuts Corp, or is there any other information I'm missing out? I am reading books from rvbaypublications.com, ready to order more. The things on the straw credit I need to discharge, like student loan, is it best to send the writ of discovery and discharge using UCC 3311 if you can elaborate on anything? I am 21, needing to move forward out of my mother's space now, so I called the number, showed up Century 21 homeowner, knowing it's a dead pledge going off straw. I do reserve all rights. Then do a revisioner, explain process, still reading up, right? So all this stuff about, well, I did this and then how do I do that? Then I did this and how do I do it? That because you're doing stuff premature. And you're not supposed to be doing premature stuff when you're talking about standing on your rights. Because when you do something premature, all it takes is somebody who's mature to checkmate you, because you don't know all the rules of the game. So we stress to people that when you get into this information, do not go on a diving board, talk about backflips and somersault and all that stuff, because the pool is being renovated and the diving board's on the shallow end, so you don't want to be diving off the diving board. Just put your bum on the ledge like everybody else and slide into the water, because it's the shallow end. The water's only going to your knee. 10-foot diving board into a shallow end means that you're going to get injured. So to save you from injury, we say don't do premature stuff. Don't have a situation and you studied something on some website and then, oh yeah, that's what that, and then you're just going to go do that. It doesn't work like that. Right? It doesn't work like that. Because you try to do some bench press 5,000 pounds because you're at the gym, girl, sexy ass passing by, you want to impress her and stuff like that, you kill yourself. Doing stuff premature. Doing stuff you're not ready for. Right? So, it's not even like, for example, right? When we're looking at coming into this information, right? Take people's experience that's been there. Slow your roll. Because trust me, head first into the shallow end is not cool. Really digest that with regard to this information. If you're a novice, if you have not been in the Moorish movement for more than 2 years, you shouldn't be exercising anything. You should be studying. Because we have to detox from the nigger mindset. And that's not happening over 2 years. That's happening over a lifetime. Because sometimes that nigger we thought was gone and stuff like that pops up. Just like that, out the blue. You get yourself caught up in some craziness because you're a Moor and then you had a nigger thought. You got yourself in some BS that now you're trying to deal with as a Moor, but that wasn't the mindset that you had when you got into BS. Take it from people who've been there and done that. Don't look at, you know what I mean, Taj Tariq Bey on House of Tunes or something and talk about, oh wow, I could just write that letter and then that's gonna get rid of. No, he's been wrote that letter hundreds of times, thousands of times maybe. Not first time that's coming out. That's something that's been used and works. That's why it's coming out. But that was for him. That's not your outcome. Your outcome's not the outcome he got. All that is a reference point for you to know how real it is. It's not for you to take that off the screen and stuff like that. Try to type something up off the screen and all that stuff while he's reading, you're typing. And then you're going to try file that paper somewhere. First thing they're going to do is send you back something. And guarantee you're not even going to check the stuff. You're going to open the stuff, right? You just commit a mail fraud because, you know, that didn't have a stamp on it and all that stuff. That name that's on there is probably not the one that you sent them something in. So now you're opening somebody else's mail. So mail fraud again. Do you remember? That's how they got Garvey. $3 mail fraud, right? Mail fraud. Took down one of the biggest $3 mail fraud. Okay? So premature actions need to cease and desist immediately. Take a step back. You know what I mean? Recognize that you might have some whatever obligations. You were dealing with them before. Deal with them still for a little bit until, you know what I mean, your feet get wet. And again, coming into this information is going to change your life. But that change could be positive or negative. Depends on what you do with your birthright. And you don't want this. You don't want to come from Negro, black, colored into this and it goes negative. You would have been better off being Negro, black, colored and dealing with what that's going to give you. Right? Got an email from Doug B to somebody that sent an email about creation of birth certificate trust. Seriously, after all these years on this forum and not one new idea, this letter has never been authenticated but is quoted everywhere. There is no trust. People who apply for benefits as legal fictions also become a surety of a debt created. You are all attorneys. Can't you get that through your heads? How can you give someone your power of attorney if you're not an attorney and do not have the power to convey? Check it out. You were attorneyed at birth. No trust was created. All these years, and only circular reasoning has continued. Winston Shrout, really? And this cognitively impaired lady making these videos, she is rehashing what has been proven false 20 years ago. She has to be paid. She has to be a paid disinfo agent. 99% of these people are just too arrogant to admit it's wrong. Somebody please show me how I can talk to a fiction, something that is not real. Please show me. If I talk to something that is not real, a legal fiction, and expect a reply, compassionate people will lock me up for my own safety. So as soon as you hear birth certificate, trust, and stuff like that, know that they're playing games with you. Right? Straight playing games with you. Let's see if we can go back to that one. More fire. So they mentioned that Moors actually need status correction and expatriation, and that the method of proclamation is old and doesn't really work or give one a nationality or get us recognized officially as a Moor when it comes to race and nationality. They also spoke down on Washita, as well as saying Marrakesh are the only ones actually recognized as Moors by the courts. Same people in the Moors versus Judge videos on YouTube. I disagree, but certainly not able to speak on what I have little knowledge of. So what is status correction and expatriation, and should or should Moors not be using this method being pushed by Marrakesh? Who are Marrakesh Society anyway, and do they have a connection or conflict with MSTA? Well, you can, if you check the Marrakesh website, if you check the Marrakesh website, you will see they have services. Correcting status, nationalization, and privatization process. Bronze, $499.99. Application processing fee, status correction course book, status correction course book 2, intro to Moorish race and nationality book, introduction to Moorish right to travel, introduction to Moorish treaty rights, name change affidavits and forms. Correct change identity and credentials. Silver package, $999.99. Application processing fee, the 5 essential books, name change affidavits and forms, name change certification, certificate, Barat card, personal ID. That's the silver, right? Or you can get the gold package, which is $2,500, and then you get the application processing fee, the 5 essential books, name change affidavits and forms, all identity and status certificates, IDs and credentials, and 4 online courses. So you asked, who are Marrakesh Society anyways? Well, if you trace them back, they were sultanates of Marrakesh. You trace them back and they were, you know, private attorney generals and aboriginal law firms and all these different names of stuff. Today, they're Marrakesh. And they're the only ones recognized as Moors by the courts. Now, you know, if those courts are corporate, and these people are obviously into corporate activity, talking about $499 to correct your status, then that should let you know where they stand with regard to your birthright. Because status correction is something that, like we said in the beginning, Muhammad Ali did it from Cassius Clay to Muhammad Ali. I don't think he paid $2,500. Elijah Poole to Elijah Poole Bay, I think he paid $2,500. I wasn't born Kudro Adwell. I didn't pay $2,500 or anything for that matter. Timothy Drew, Noble Drew Ali, no $2,500 there. So, do they have a connection with MSTA? Well, let's see. They might have a connection because they say that they're Moors. But, you know, these are the individuals who came up studying under, you know, rvbaypublications.com, Great Seal, Taj Tariq Bey, Grand Sheik Nature, these people, you know, they got the information, went off and did their own stuff. No different than the Moors who were around Noble Drew Ali. And after Noble Drew Ali passed, they left, did their own stuff. Said Nation Islam, Israelite, whatever, black, Asiatic, whatever, you know, it's just how it goes. This is why it's important that people are studying. Because trust me, Cassius Clay didn't pay $2,500 to be Muhammad Ali. Right? We know he didn't pay $2,500, so why should you? You did the same thing that he did. Charles Edwards didn't pay $2,500 to be Emmanuel I. You made $2,500. You know, but some people want you to be part of their group that they say is a nation, you know, and they got a flag and all that stuff. And what Drew Ali said, the flag that he resurrected goes back 10,000 years. Like, who's trumping that? Whose flag's coming to trump that? Which guy in 2000 whatever is gonna say, yeah, we're the new Moroccans and our nation state of Morocco, and we have this flag right here, and it's a red flag with a 5-pointed green star tilted kind of, and then there's a crescent moon around it because, you know, Noble Drew Ali said the crescent moon is, you know, whatever. And this is the flag of our ancestors. You take them people serious, you're a damn fool. And you deserve to get played. You deserve to get whatever it is you get. Whatever it is that they do to you, you deserved it. Because, you know what I mean? We told y'all, go watch the Back to Basics. 25 classes. By the time you finish them 25 classes, 2-hour classes, right? So 2-hour classes times 25 classes. Time you finish those classes, you should be on your way to recognizing how important it is, nationality and birthrights. And it should inspire you to continue studying. Like, when we stopped going to the library because we started getting laptops and computers and stuff like that, right? Because we never had those stuff. Like, we only used those stuff for if we had to project something on the wall or something like that. Other than that, like, we didn't. This is, you know what I mean, like early 2000s or whatever. You know, computers or whatever. You go to the library if you want to study. It's not a computer. Do what? But, you know, realize the expediency you do online. Because, you know, now you don't have to go through all those pages. You could just use keywords and get the exact page. But we still had 50 tabs open. 50 tabs open when studying online. That's how it was. And then other guy has a computer, and then the guy has a computer, and everybody has 50 tabs. Right? So once you study these people, you see them from far and realize that they're a fraud. Islam to the mother, just like the mother realized. Just because she studies and her frequency is somewhere, that she read this and realized something is wrong here. Something's wrong. I'm new to this. I don't know everything, but something's wrong here. And it's those vibes, those spidey senses, whatever, that's going to save you from getting played by these people. If you disregard that, nah, he's just a Moor, and you know, maybe he misinterpreted something, maybe he... No. If you're writing books and stuff like that, you're studying and you not misinterpret anything. You know exactly what it is that you're doing if you write a book. Exactly what you're doing. You're not writing a book to, just like with, bring this up too, right? We're going through this one. Make sure if you're Moor, you don't get this one, because this is just the Moor basher book. The Moor did this, the Moors did that, the Moors did this wrong, the Moors did this wrong. Moors didn't do anything right. All the Moors did was wrong stuff. All the Moors did was wrong stuff. The Moors don't want to recognize that they're Canaanites. What do you mean? Noble Jolly came and told us that we're Canaanites. What do you mean we don't recognize that we're Canaanites? What do you mean? Right? So you have to do a re-edit again, Brother Cain. You have to do a re-edit again. Because like they told you the first time that you wrote it, that stuff was missing. Then you rewrote, and then now you must have changed stuff now, because now stuff's all messed up because you have the Moors in here like some demons or something like that. And Moors, there might have been some Moors that were demons, but they weren't all Moors. And just like these people today who want to categorize all Moors, you know, regardless of what, oh yeah, all Moors are, no. Don't even go there. There's active Moors, there's dirty Moors, and there's passive Moors. Passive Moors, they don't do anything. They just go to the temple, pray, sing hymns to Noble Juali, and that's all they do. They're not interested in being active, nothing like that. You know. Active Moors are constantly doing something relative to their birthrights. Constantly. There's not a time that passes that there's not some type of, whether interaction with somebody, living your life, whatever, there's... And dirty Moors are the ones trying to let people look at active Moors like we're going against the Prophet, and you know, Noble Juali didn't bring that, Noble Juali didn't say that, in order to get people to not be themselves, to get people to be somebody that they're not. You know what I mean? I did my natal chart, so I know who I am. You're not telling me I'm somebody. Yeah. Oh, you tell me I'm somebody when I got a natal chart. I got a natal chart. Are you trying to tell me what color feathers and stuff like that to wear and all that stuff? Oh, well, you know, you can't go on. You can't go to that website because, you know, those Moors over there, they are whatever. And then you're, oh yeah, they're like that? Oh, well, I'm not going to go there. You show me where to go because, you know, you're the grand whatever. Ha! She's just selling you out. Selling you out. Making sure that you don't make it to the marvelous light. Have you thinking the marvelous light is some stuff way down there, you got to do all this stuff, go through out of chamber before you get the marvelous light? It's not that serious. It's not that serious. All you got to do is study. All you got to do is take some time and use your goddamn common sense and stop listening to freaking stupid people who more than likely are dirty. Because you're not listening to the Moors who are, you know, active and doing something with regard to the birthright. Right? You listen to stupid Moors. You listen to incompetent Moors. You listen to dirty Moors, and then want to know how come there's no unity amongst the Moors. Because you're on the other side of the line that's in the sand, that it's clear line that anybody could see, right? Line so clear, you step wrong, you fall in the ditch. The line so clear between active Moors and all these other Moors. Line's clear. And if you're on the side with the dirt, then you're going to look dirty, you're going to see dirty, you're going to smell dirty, everything's going to be dirty. Nothing's going to be pristine to you. How about jump over the ditch onto the side where the active Moors are at, where, you know, the reason why it's so clean around here because Moors don't got time to do no dirt. Like, more, like, I mean, again, the fake group thing, and these guys play their little game about, you know, Cujo this and that, Cujo did this, Cujo did that, right? So Drew Sutton Amir Bey, who's this Moor right here? Drew Sutton Amir Bey, this Moor, who's part of the Amexa Moor crew, right? This Moor, 3 people who shall remain nameless, didn't want to give me his name, but they told me that he's a Amexa Moor, right? So shame on y'all for being punks and not giving up the name. And Islam to the one that did give up the name, even though you had to get cut off, right? But I'm not gonna bait you up and put your name out there, even though you almost made me strangle you to get this name. So this is the Moor that's going around saying that I raped some girl in Pennsylvania. This Moor right here. Drew Sutton Amir Bey. And the individual who told me that I cut off, I trust him. I trusted him. Only because they took so long to give up the name is why I lost trust for them. But they gave up the name. But all 4 verified that it's an Amexa Moor that's saying that you raped this sister. Right? Going around, mouth to ear slander. They're not making no videos about it. They're not writing up nothing about it. They're going mouth to ear with the slander. And then his boy, Christopher Allen Jackson Bey, who's another Amexa Moor Empire guy, he's talking about, well, if you want to deal with it, you should just come to our court. And then we'll do, what court? You guys don't got no court. But come to your court. Come to your court for what? You guys have a fake flag talking about your empire? And talking about I come to you guys' court? When I'm telling you clowns, give up the names. Who's these sisters that I raped? Give me one name. Nobody doesn't want to give up no names. Everybody wants to talk BS. About they got this. If you got evidence, press charges, then push.
News. We're experiencing some technical difficulties,
if I'd so raped somebody, please press some charges. Please, I'm begging you to press charges because I want to know who I raped too. I want to know who I raped. I really want to know who I raped. So all you Amexa punk.
News. We're experiencing some technical difficulties,
Make sure you bring up the names of these sisters that I raped in Pennsylvania. Make sure. Amexa Moor Empire guys. Just make sure you bring the names up. Because I really want to know. It's imperative that I know. And then, you know, if there ain't no names, I should let people know that these provocateurs out here, their purpose is to make sure that you don't study and make you not be yourself. They want you to be their clone. Don't be anybody's clone. Forget all these people out here pushing titles, claiming that they're... Look where titles got you. Titles got you a guy who had Sultan on his fez. When Noble Jawali said, don't mark your fez. But then everybody's following the guy with the marked fez. Who's the jackass? Who's really the fool? The guy with the fez on, or the stupid people following the guy with the fez? Who's really the stupid people? The guy who made up the good story, hey, a crescent star in my eye and a circle 7 in my eye, and then that's how we're gonna convince people that I'm Noble Drew Ali reincarnated. Who's the fool? The guy who heard that story, the guy who told that story, or the guy who heard that story? Who's the fool? Right? All these dirty Moors out here continuing to play their game. They're not playing me. They're not playing me. Guaranteed. Whoever they play, you're a dumbass for getting played, because we've been telling you people about these dirty Moors. This is not something new. Been telling you about these people. Watch out for these people talking BS about RV Bay publications. Watch out for these people talking BS about Taj Tariq Bay. As soon as they start talking some BS about Aleem and Washita or whatever like that, recognize that these people are agent provocateurs. Their job is to make sure that you don't study. You hear them talking BS about Asir the Duke of Tears. Recognize that these people are sellouts, and their job is for you not to have the correct reference point so you can know where they're going. They want you to follow their footsteps, not make your own. They want you to follow in their footsteps, but not make your own footsteps. Right? Another testimonial from Brother Jermaine Bay. Islam Moore, I'm writing this email to inform you about my battle with the IRS. They have been sending me fraudulent correspondences through the mail for a few years. One read that I owed them $10,000. I have the courage to stand on my square and speak truth as the Prophet spoke it. I realize that one has to search for truth, and it's an ending task. I started studying. I learned a lot from RV Bay publications. They gave me a lot of keys to understanding the history of the IRS and its function. I now know I can stand on truth, not belief, when exposing the tax fraud. A few months ago, I received another fraudulent correspondence from the IRS in the form of a tax warrant. I have never heard of a tax warrant, demanding that I pay them taxes owing to them. They went on to mention taking from my bank account and even taking my property. I decided to charge this amount to the people that created it. I filed a tax return and sent it to the Treasury Department, mentioning in my writ HJR 192 exposing the fraud. I filed a 1040, 1099 OID, 1096, 109AA, corrected the creditor and debtor, making them the borrower and me the lender, and the debt was offsetted. I later received a letter from the Treasury Department stating, based on the return that I filed, I don't owe anything. The account has been zeroed out. All past debts are zero. I wanted to get more confirmation, so I decided to call the IRS, and the agent asked me if the forms I filled out were done correctly. If not, it's a $5,000 fine. After she double checked my file and said everything went through successfully, she checked again, mentioning past due amounts, and said, wow, yes, everything is zeroed out totally on the account. She asked me if I was a tax lawyer. I laughed and just told her, I'm not a lawyer, I just know truth. The people had to hear my story, because I know there are millions of Moors getting robbed by this fraudulent corporation, and we must have the courage to stand on the square of truth, because this is the only way we defeat this de facto system. Islam to the family, and give thanks for taking time to listen to my testimony. Knowledge is what's going to set us free. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. We must all stand on our square and confess our own. I am Islam Bey. And he sent the IRS Department of the Treasury letter in the name of the straw. Amount due 0, 0, 0, 0. Notice date May 15th, 2017. Islam to that. This brother Reginald Bay. I am Reginald Bay and I am a Moor. Greetings, brother Cujo. Honors to you, brother Taj Bay, Canaanland, and all active Moors in America. My question today is, why is it that most all the MSTA that I came across remind me of a Christian church when I find one and visit? It's really deflating. When asked why they don't teach and study law, they say we don't deal with law, we abide by the law though. Well, if the prophet said enforce the Constitution, shouldn't every temple be teaching the people law? Yes, they should. Otherwise, how can one enforce what they have no knowledge of? And by the way, how can someone live by or according to what they don't know, thus be obedient to what the prophet has instructed? I'm shaking my head too, bro. Anyway, this is a lonely path, but I know and trust that Allah will raise a body of people here in Houston, Texas. Any Moors that's in Houston or at Houston? Send an email, canaanlandguide@gmail.com, and your website, and something that we can check you out to make sure that you're not dirty Moors trying to rob the brother who's just trying to find some good Moors. So make sure you give us your website and all that stuff if you email and you're from Texas, so we could send you to the brother. There's a story in the Bible, John chapter 9, about a man that was blind since birth, and he heard about Jesus and all that he had done for others. Well, the man met Jesus one day, and long story short, Jesus healed the man and gave him sight. The religious leaders of that time saw the man and inquired about how he received his sight, and the man told them Jesus had healed him. The hypocrites, religious leaders, said Jesus was a sinner because he healed the man on the Sabbath day, and they did not believe he was a prophet, and said, "Give God the praise, for we know this man is a sinner." The blind man replied, "Whether he is a sinner or not, I don't know, but I do know that I was born blind and now I see thanks to him." So, with that in mind, I'd like to say that I've heard a lot of negativity over the years about the prophet, about Taj, and about you and so many others. But I want you to know, and I wish I had a way to let Taj know as well. Maybe you can if you think about it when you speak to him. Whether all the things I have heard are true or not, I don't know. But what I do know is before I met the prophet, I was blind, deaf, and dumb. But since I have heard the truth about my nationality and birthrights via Taj and brothers like yourself, my eyes have been opened, and I can see through all the fog of false religion and de facto law, etc., that is usurping, colonizing, and have been using us to keep us asleep. So keep your head up, bro, and keep fighting the fight. You are appreciated. Islam. Islam. And the last one. Islam. I unfortunately was advised to put my free national name in at the county, which is an error, and got other instruments as well. I have chosen to study more. What can I do to improve my situation? I looked into rescission and disclaimer. Any info would help. Well, it depends on how you put your free national name in the county. If you put your free national name in the county because you have a name declaration or a proclamation of your status or nationality papers or something like that, you're putting those on the record to file it at the county so that anybody can check to see that you made this declaration or proclamation. Ain't nothing wrong with using the county if they'll file your stuff. You know what I mean? That's no issue. Now, if you're talking about you did some authenticate the birth certificate and all that stuff and put that on the county and all that, rescission is in order, and that just goes into you know, just do your research on rescission letters and rescind that action, because, you know, just getting rid of it is not going to do anything. right? And as well, recognize that if it is something relative to authenticating birth certificates and stuff like that, recognize that those people played you, and whatever they charged you to do that, you can, take one for the team. I wouldn't suggest go strangle them or whatever, but you take one the team and just recognize that that's what the active Moors have been talking about. Those type of Moors, opportunistic Moors, that see Moors, coming into knowing about their birthrights and all that stuff, and figure, hey, let me give them the illusion of fast track. Just buy this and then you'll be a Moor in 24 hours instead of having to study for 50 years. When you're going to end up studying 50 years anyways, if you give this guy 2,500. So with that, we'll just close out Islam to all the Moors that had their questions. Give thanks for your time and attention. We want to also put out, don't forget, class going on right after this, 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. blogtalkradio.com, MHHS, eyes wide open. Call-in number 425-569-5201. 425-569-5201 and 347-945-5899. 347-945-5899. So, Islam Moors, peace and love. We'll definitely see what's good on Sunday at the same channel, Ustream, for those new people. Same channel, we're right here on Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. So we'll just close out with our prayer, and don't forget, call in early. Don't play 9:30. You're gonna call into the show, you won't get in. So call in early so you can get your spot. 5 on the left, 2 on the right. Allah, the Father of the universe, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation, by night and by day, through his holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Islam.
Yeah. I know what Dirty Moors did to Drew Ali. Going at dirty rappers, lynching dirty Moors too. Hiding literature that Drew wrote to warn you. They claim to make you Muslim and make you sovereign. With paperwork and filings, if fiat they robbing. They don't care about his words, throw it out like garbage. Or throw it at you when you're active, not passive. When they wanna talk a bounce like off a trampoline mattress. Treat them like a vamp or a teen actress. Get stamped with the brand like a mean savage. This Inquisition divine, all others average. Millennium Renaissance, zeros in our classes. Fed up with the czar controlling fascists. Ask if they heard about Moors, they say no. But Masons, they obviously know. Down the handshakes and rituals with skull and bones. They even know about owls burning Bohemian Grove. I know what Dirty Moors did to Drew Ali. I know what Dirty Moors did. I know what Dirty Moors did. I know what Dirty Moors did to Drew Ali. I know what Dirty Moors did. I know what Dirty Moors did. I know what Dirty Moors did to Drew Ali. I know what Dirty Moors did. I know what Dirty Moors did. I know what Dirty Moors did to Drew Ali. I know what Dirty Moors did. Dirty Moors killed Drew. I read the FBI papers on loyal Moors, emergency fund rapers. Moorish literature and divine bylaw changes. Might as well say Drew Ali was born in a manger. Prophet pushed poison aside and his food smelled danger. Got me treating every Moor like a stranger. Grand Chief Punkin stumbling drunk in their fairs. What was proclaimed for every meeting was not read. Some Moors are so active, Prophet can't be dead. Thanks Moorish teachers away, I can't be led. Actions speak, then I consider what's said. And what's said was study, then study yourself. honest to the prophet noble Drew Ali. I know what dirty Moors did to Drew Ali. Everybody wants to be just like Drew Ali, but nobody wants to care about Drew Ali. I know what dirty Moors did to Drew Ali. I know what dirty Moors did. I know what dirty Moors did. I know what dirty Moors did to Drew Ali. I know what dirty Moors did. I know what dirty Moors did. I know what dirty Moors did to Drew Ali. I know what dirty Moors did. I know what dirty Moors did. I know what dirty Moors did to Drew Ali. I know what dirty Moors did.